Hello everyone, I'm Bunit Basnat. With me is Roshan Pradhan. We are going to talk about how to transact the I Can Read section of Class 1 English textbook.
We will be specifically discussing the I Can Read section of Theme 1, 5 Big Monkeys. But before we get to the actual pedagogy, I think it's important for all of us to understand why the I Can Read section has been included in all our themes. The I Can Read section is another text in the theme apart from story time. This is to help children participate in extensive reading. The idea is that multiple texts, apart from the main story, within the themes of the textbooks should be available to children to help them develop their vocabulary, take an interest in reading, develop reading fluency without explicit instruction. The text is much simpler than the text in story time, and we hope that this will encourage the children to read by themselves. This is keeping in mind that children in government schools might not have access to age-specific or appropriate reading material.
This is why it is important for schools to have libraries and reading corner for children of the primary classes.
Now let us talk about how we can deal with the I Can Read section in an actual classroom. As teachers of English in the early grades, we are aware of the numerous problems that they face while in reading English texts by themselves. What are these problems? The first is phonemic awareness. Children are often unable to pronounce different sounds of the words. Second, phonics. Children are unable to find out the connection between English letters and the sounds that they make in a particular context. Number 3, vocabulary. Children do not know the meaning of a word in a particular context, and consequently they fail to understand the meaning, which affects comprehension of the text. Lastly, understanding the sense group. They read the words in isolation and miss the meaning. Sometimes we must read a group of words together to understand the meaning. We must plan our lessons keeping these issues in mind.
In classes 1 to 3, the suggested steps are 1. The teacher and children reading together. 2. Group reading. 3. Individual reading. However, before the actual reading starts, you have to do some preparation to familiarize the children with the words and the context. Let us discuss this with a real example. We'll talk about how to deal with I Can Read of Theme 1 from Class 1, 5 Big Monkeys.
Firstly, as for all sections, teachers need to be really prepared with their lessons. Read the text thoroughly yourself and make a list of the words that children can learn from this lesson. So before you actually start teaching, you should have a clear idea of which words you want your children to learn at the end of the lesson. So we advise you to read the lesson carefully yourself and make a list of the words. Your list will look something like this. First word list of yours can be developed into a word chart like this, a word list like this. You can make it as attractive as possible and hang it up in your class. This will help you to familiarize the children with the words, and they can use the words every day. And when you later do your lessons and write the words on the board, they can make a connection with this, the words on the board and the words in the textbook. As you make your lists and charts, you will see that especially in the primary section, in the very grades 1 and 2, words are repeated over and over again. There are 12 lines and only 28 words. The following words have been repeated over and over again. As the text is very short, you can even make a story chart like this. So why are we making a story chart? To make it more attractive to your students, and also it will be easy for you to teach from here than it is from the book. And since the lines are very less, the text is very less, it can easily be done. And when the children see the monkeys here and the monkeys in the textbook, they can make an association and it will make more sense to them. Your pre-reading activity will probably take you one whole period, or if the story is even longer, it will take you 2 periods. We suggest or we advise you to take this very, very slowly. Now when you come to the actual reading, next period, alright, this is the next period, you will recap this lesson. You can again point to the story. If you have a story, this is the advantage of having a story chart. You can again point to the story and say, what is this? Who is this? What is he doing? You spend about 10 minutes recalling your last lesson. Alright? And then you can say, now we will read the story. And while you are reading the story, we advise you to be as animated as possible. Enact the story so that it becomes fun, so that the children will be interested. And so you can write, so you can now start reading the story. You read the first line, 5 big monkeys drumming on a tree. Right? And you can ask the children, now repeat after me. 5 big monkeys drumming on a tree. And throughout this whole thing, you can make them read like this. You read one line, they read the line again, and with the actions. And when you do this, you will have a noisy, fun class. Children can drum on their tables, they will fall down, they will break their knee, they will scream ouch, and you will have a whole lot of fun. So this is how you will read. You will spend one whole period doing this reading activity in class. So once you have finished this loud reading, where you are reading one line and the children are reading the next line, then you can ask the children, now read the text silently by yourself. So you'd ask them to open the books and read silently, and then you can go around the class helping the children to read. Encourage them to ask you for help if they get stuck with a particular word, and help them with reading help them with their reading. In another part of the class towards the end, maybe you can ask a few children to read loud. This will help them develop their confidence. So these are the things that you will do in class. So now we have done the loud reading, you have asked them to read silently. So what do we do in the next class? So in the next class, you again recall the last class. Again you can ask the similar questions. What do you see here? It will be repetition. You can point to the words on the word wall. You can ask them to identify words. You can ask them to come and spell the words. You can ask them to tell you the story of this. And then you can enact. Now you can use this story to make it even more interesting. You can say, now today we are going to be monkeys. And then you can divide your classroom into groups, and you can ask each group to enact the story. Alright, after each monkey falls down, you ask, how many monkeys there? So after one monkey falls down, they will say 4. After another monkey falls down, they will have 3. So you have a simple maths lesson here also, and also a fun lesson for the children and for you. They will repeat the story again, and with the actions they will comprehend the story even further. Okay, and in some part of the post-reading and some part of the post-reading story, you can read this part again. No more monkeys drumming on a tree. All the birds are now fast asleep. You can enact asleep, fast asleep. All the birds are now fast asleep. And then you can ask your class, why are the birds asleep? Don't expect a proper, thought out answer. They might give you some really weird answers. Accept all the answers, but at least you have put that idea in their mind as to why the birds are asleep. You will need a minimum of 3 periods to transact this class. If you have a large class, you can even take it up to 5 periods. And I would like to tell you to take it very, very slowly, to enjoy every part of the class, to take it further. You can even, present this play or this role play that you are doing. You can present it in front of the morning assembly. Some children can enact various parts. Some can read. Alright, in this way the confidence of your children will develop. They will become confident readers, they will start recognizing words, and this should be your objective, to make your children confident readers.
You can even ask the students to read the story again and again in some free periods or in proxy classes. There are no activities after 5 Big Monkeys. As mentioned earlier, please do not treat it as a comprehension text. It is simply for reading. We should talk about the story with children, but we should not deliberately try to teach anything through this story. Children may pick up a few words from the I Can Read section and get a chance to practice the words which they have already learned from other sections. But we should not test children on these stories.
The I Can Read section of all the themes can be very, very powerful tools to build your children's confidence. With the right pedagogy, children will be able to recognize the words. The objective here is to boost their confidence and take away the fear and develop an interest in reading. When they recognize the words, they will be able to use the words. The title of the section only is so empowering. I can read. With your help, I'm sure children will be able to realize, yes, I can read. As you may have noticed, the stories do not have a lot of new words. The words are repeated again and again, and this is to help you build the children's confidence, and also it will make your job easier.
I Can Read stories have none or very few activities. We implore the teachers to use this for fun and not to use it as a normal English text. Coming to a second question, please do not give this section as homework. Take some time out in English period itself. It is important that you observe how different children read and help them to read whenever they feel a little stuck. You will notice that children's reading and comprehension skills dramatically improve when they read stories purely for fun and enjoyment. In class 2 and 3, children will be able to read with minimal help from your side.
The objective of I Can Read section is not just decoding the story mechanically, but understanding or pronouncing the group of words or a single word. They read and try to understand the meaning. And all the activities that you are doing will help them understand the meaning of the words. And when they understand the meaning, they will enjoy reading. And this is the main objective of this I Can Read section, to understand, read with meaning, and eventually enjoy it. You can also use this section for assessment, and you can assess the following things. Number 1, the child is able to read following the teacher. The child is able to read in groups. The child is able to read individually. The child is able to read isolated words of the text, that is just decoding. The child is able to read according to sense group. This is the first step to comprehension. And lastly, the child is able to read and understand the meaning of the whole sentence, understanding at the discourse level.